Hello, and welcome to Ask Me About K-Pop, the essential guide for recent converts and seasoned fans alike. I am Shannon, and I am one of your hosts on this journey today. I was trying to change up the intro. I was trying to change up the intro.
Today on Ask Me About K-Pop, an existential crisis.
I'm Shannon? I think I am. Anyway. My co-host is my best friend, and her name's Angelica. How are you, Angelica?
I am okay. I'm honestly feeling like weirdly delirious as a result of the research for this particular episode.
Yes, my Lord.
I feel like the ground underneath me has gone wibbly.
Yeah.
Because it is crazy to me how crazy people can be.
Yeah. This is today's episode is an episode that has been on the short list since the inception of the podcast, but we've been putting it off because I don't want to talk about this stuff.
This is a key vocabulary word. We don't really do vocabulary words anymore.
Because we are kind of past it, but we've been putting this one off for so long.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about Sasaeng fans today. When you Romanize that, it is Sasaeng. And if you Google Sasaeng fan with that spelling, you will find tons of stories about it. What is a Sasaeng fan?
Well, a Sasaeng fan is an over-obsessive fan of an idol or other public figure that engages in stalking or other privacy invading behavior.
Yes.
The term comes from the Korean words sa, meaning private, and saeng, meaning life. So it's referring to anyone who is intruding on the private life of another person. And so Sasaengs are just crazy stalker fans is the simplest
terms, stalker fans.
But also we're going to have to talk about anti-fans. And these, I feel are just the other side of the Sasaeng coin. These are people who claim to hate the idols they are obsessed with, but the behavior of both of these groups is exactly the same.
Yes. So Sasaeng fans and anti-fans, they do the same shit. It's the same stalker behavior, but one of them claims to do it out of love and the other claims to do it out of hate. And it's a really weird... It's just a weird happening. The fact that it exists at all is odd. I kind of understand the stalker out of love more than the stalker out of hate, if only because it's why would you dedicate this much energy toward a person that you claim to hate?
Aren't there poems about how hate is a stronger emotion than love, or they're equal, or so? I don't know.
I mean, there's an entire manga and movie about anti-fans.
Yeah.
It's called I Married an Anti-Fan, and the movie it stars Chanyeol.
It's not a good movie.
I love that movie. I will say that I think the worst part about it are the subs.
Yeah, I was about to say,
I think the movie itself probably does a really good job of capturing the comic book style of the manga. It does seem very comic booky. The construction of the female's character is weak.
Yes.
Because, the reason that she hates Chanyeol's character is kind of, wishy-washy.
And it goes away so quickly.
Yeah. But the subs themselves, it's a Chinese movie, so it's made in Mandarin. And, the subs that are available are just really subpar.
Yeah.
Pun intended.
Pun intended.
But they're just really bad subs. I suffered through them because I love Chanyeol, but you get maybe a 70% understanding of what the movie's about.
I was looking at the reviews on my Drama Fever app mine the other day, and a lot of them are about these subtitles are very, very bad.
That's all it is. Because characters will speak for 3 minutes and literally a 3-word subtitle goes with it.
And so it's in incorrect grammar.
Yeah, and it's poor syntax and it's missing a word, and you're just I'm going to assume that she's mad at him for something.
Yeah. Okay.
Moving on.
Anti-fans. There are anti-fans who sometimes go far enough as to also create fandom names for themselves. The only one that I could find for sure, a lot of them were rumored or people use them on Twitter, but for sure, Twice has so many anti-fans that they call themselves thrice. Because the actual fans are once.
Right.
And twice and thrice are the other side.
Is it because they're girls and people just so easily hate women? Is that why they have like an actual...
Probably.
I don't...
And like, I'm
not a fan of Twice and I don't get the Twice hatred.
Yeah.
Like I do... Because there are people who are fans of Twice that hate with a fiery passion certain members of Twice.
Yes, that was what I was going to say. The other thing about...
That's so fucking weird.
Like, Twice has a crazy amount of solo stands in a way that I've, like, never seen before. Like, if you watch videos of like Twice fan signs, like there are people literally heckling the other girls the whole time.
It's
like,
so
I don't know
weird.
how anyone copes with, how you would cope with that.
I don't, yeah.
Maybe
I mean,
it's just dudes like being toxic and fucking everything up.
Maybe it is because like their fan base is largely male, that's something like you don't really see in boy groups where like cause like there are people who are like OT8 stans or whatever for EXO, but like there aren't people that actively hate Lay or something. You know what I mean?
Like probably,
but not in the same way.
Yeah, the Twice thing, it's so apparent.
Yeah, you would never see at like a 17 fan sign. You would never see one of the members being booed.
Yes, but it's like a regular occurrence at Twice things. It's really very strange.
Weird.
Okay, so we're just gonna talk about some examples of like fucked up crazy things that these crazy people have done, just so that we can all be aware of this world that we live in, and just to check maybe everyone to just check themselves and to always think about like, hey, these are human beings.
Yes, always remember like, I mean, here in Western culture too, like there's so many instances in which like celebrities' privacy is totally violated. Like no matter where you live in the world and who your celebrities are, like it's always important to remember that they are human beings.
Yes.
But I did want to ask you, I read an article that sort of theorized as to like why Sasaeng fans exist in Korea in a way that is slightly different from the way they exist in other countries. Do you want to talk about that before we talk about specific examples?
Oh yeah,
or
totally.
After?
Let's go into that because what my guess is that it's the country is small and you can get to people easy.
That is a huge reason for it. Like, and this is obviously just sort of theories. Like there's no concrete explanation for why these fans exist. But like part of it has to do with the fact of access itself. But before you even get to access, you have to consider something that we've talked about before in this podcast, which is the fan culture of K-pop. Yeah. It's very different from Western music, and in the sense that the accessibility to the idols is marketed in a really different way. Like they're marketed as being there for the fans.
Yeah.
And they're meant to seem friendly and accessible. Like that's why you have things like fan meets and fan signs and high touches. Like these opportunities for the fans to literally face-to-face have an individual meeting with the members that they want to meet. And so that kind of feeds this idea of ownership of an idol from the perspective of the fans, right? Like they are doing everything for you. It's like when we talked about our dating scandal app and how like Taeyeon and Baekhyun would like post things on their Instagram and fans got pissed because it was like, well, that Instagram is supposed to be for the fans. It's not your personal account, right? So Sasaeng's like kind of come out of that idea that like you own this fan, or this idol. But I also read that usually, and this might be a big distinction between Sasaeng and anti-fans, is that Sasaengs, because they do what they do supposedly out of love, they are oftentimes the biggest financial supporters of that group.
Yes.
They buy things in bulk and they go to all of the events, and they sometimes just make sizable donations in like the name of that group or whatever, like to the company. And so it's really difficult, or at least companies have difficulty cracking down on the actions of these Sasaeng fans because they know that that's where a lot of the money comes from.
That was a thing that I did not, one of the things I forgot to bring up in our yelling about Cube extravaganza was that like that was a thing that people kept bringing up, like, well, some of these people who are pissed about Edon have bought 65 albums or whatever. So like you have to do what they say. And I like said in a text or in a message to one of our listeners on Instagram, like if the whole industry is propped up on weirdos buying 75 albums, then it deserves to fucking fail. Like,
agreed.
I love K-pop, you know that I do, but like seriously, if the whole thing is only staying afloat because of like crazies buying too many CDs, then like, maybe we need to rethink it all. Like,
yeah, I mean,
know.
yes, I agree. If that is the truth, then that truth is flawed and we need to fix it. But B, it can't be the only way these people are making money. Like, the international fan base of K-pop is too big now for companies to continue to be swayed to these fucking lunatics.
It's just like a lunatic who spends a couple, like,
irresponsible business practices to allow one crazy and often dangerous stalker to tell you how to treat your idols and the people who are literally making your money.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot put the consumer above the, for lack of better words, product.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the idols are the ones that are making the product that you're selling. So you need to focus and protect their interests before you protect the interests of the buyer.
Totally. All of this is going to make us hella mad.
Anyway, that kind of got us sidetracked a little bit because we're talking about like, why do these fans exist? Like, how does this happen? So there's this idea of ownership over them. And as you mentioned at the very beginning of this, Korea is so small.
Yeah.
Right. So like,
you can get across the whole thing in 2.5 hours.
Exactly.
On a train. It's crazy.
Yeah. So like, to literally get to your bias or your idol is usually a fairly cheap bus or train ticket away. So it's like really easy to find them. It's also like the idols, unlike here in the US, like they don't live in these like gated, separated mansions, like gated, secure communities. They literally live in normal apartment buildings
with
that
other
have
people.
Like 200 other residents in it. So it's just a matter of finding out where they live and then entering the building. It's not like they have extra security guards. Like, if you've seen
there's no
dramas,
Hollywood Hills.
Yeah, no.
Seoul.
There's no like Beverly Hills like security guard at the gate. That doesn't exist. Like if you've seen dramas, then you know that a lot of the apartments, they just have like an access code on the door. But it's literally like if you know what building they live in, you could just camp out there. And people do. Also, go ahead.
I was just an example of this that I saw come up in a couple of articles, and so I thought I would mention it because I always have to bring up Reply 1997 if it is applicable, and today it is because they actually they were slightly criticized, but also people thought it was kind of funny, mixed feelings about the way that they portrayed Sasaeng behavior because Yoonji's character arguably is one. Yeah. And there is an episode in particular where she gets in a huge fight with her dad and she gets on a bus to Seoul and she camps outside of Tony's house. And they had Tony from HOT play himself. But basically in the end, after her sleeping outside of his door, he comes out and she cries and he gives her a hat and a bus ticket and tells her to get away. But he's generally kind of nice to her. Anyway, so it's just people, it's kind of weird because
it sort of walks the line of excusing that behavior.
She's our main character and we love her and Tony is frustrated, but he's not gonna let this teen, and he's go home, apologize to your dad. He gets, the idol gets to have his moment in the sun, but 20 years later.
But in real life, it's Tony doesn't need to. Tony is not responsible for this teenage girl's drama. You know what I mean?
Or her feelings, and she needs to get away from his house.
Yeah, she needs to not be near his house. But so that's one of the problems. Is it's super easy to find out where they live. A lot of idols also own businesses. And so it's really easy
their families
or their families own businesses. And because Korea is small, if you go to this business enough times, the owners of the business, they will recognize you. And so you can fairly easily make connections to this person's personal life. And it's really easy to find out what their schedules are. Yeah. The schedules of idols are super public. So it's really easy to be tweet out so-and-so is here at this time, and then boom, hop on a train, you're there. Yeah. So it is really easy to spread the news of where people are and immediately get there to harass.
And I think that's just a really, before we get into this, I feel that's just such an interesting like dichotomy is that like these people don't exist like because there's access to it. They like exist because they're crazy. Because like another thing I forgot to bring up in our Yelling About Cube episode is that I found out while doing research for that episode, like it was confirmed for me that like plenty of Hyuna and E'Dawn's fans like knew a year ago. Like, because people had seen them together, but because they weren't fucking freaks, they didn't take pictures of it or put it on the internet or tell anyone. They were like, I'm a person and I respect their privacy and like, I'm
a fan of Hyuna and Queen didn't raise no bitch.
And like maybe
I'm not gonna blast her.
And I'll put it in the group chat with my super closest Hyuna fans, like, hee, I saw them. And everyone goes, oh, how cute. And they move on with their lives.
Yeah.
Like, there are plenty of people who have tons of information about idols and they just like don't share it because they're normal.
Yeah.
So it's like not because they're accessible that any of this happens. It's because these people are crazy. I just
True.
like
I don't want to like excuse that, but it just kind of provides a little bit of context as to like why I think that there's a greater percentage of these sort of crazy fans in K-pop than there is like in the US, for example. Like the concentration of stalker fans is greater when we're talking about K-pop than when we're talking about other genres of music.
Yeah, so much so. Like, here's a good transition into like some examples of how this shit goes down. Like, it's such a thing that there are these things known as Sasaeng taxis, which are like crooked taxi drivers that'll take like $300 and they'll take you wherever you want at all hours of the night. They'll go on a chase. Like, they're down because they're just like, I don't know. They're shady taxi drivers. It's such a problem. They've caused so many accidents.
It's so dangerous, not only to the idols themselves, but to the people around them. Like, there are multiple incidents in which a car accident has occurred because an idol was being chased by a Sasaeng fan or a group of Sasaeng fans, and then other vehicles were involved. Like, you're not the only ones on the road.
And it's like really crazy. And I don't know if I'm like bringing this up too early. I don't know how to like.
We could just like, let's talk about the examples. So like one example that I have is a Super Junior. We can start with them.
Sure.
So Heechul and Leetuk.
Yes.
Is that how you say his name? Okay. They were, when they were in, I think it was Shanghai, they were chased by Sasaeng fans in a car on their way to the airport, which caused a 7-car accident. It was like rear end dominoes. So there weren't any major injuries in this, but 7 cars were involved because one car of Sasaeng fans chose to follow these 2 idols to the airport. Heechul left Twitter for a year afterward because he was just like, because he had previously been in another car accident, which we're not really going to get into the details of, but like he came out and was like, the actions of these fans just brought up all of the trauma from my previous car accident. So I'm out. Like, I'm not talking to you guys anymore. Like, please respect the fact that I'm going to live quietly for the next year.
Right. I guess this goes without saying because I want to bring this up and I'm like, oh, is it too early to talk about how the idols just fucking lose their shit over this stuff? Like, no, because that's just going to keep coming up. Like, nobody handles this stuff like well. Like, there's no graceful way to like deal with people doing this to you. So I just want to bring it up just like for pure transparency because like I'm very biased and I love him dearly. But
Changmin?
A very old video of Changmin was released very recently it's like CCTV footage of he's in a car and there's one of these Sasaeng taxis behind him and his car stops, so they have to stop, and he stomps out of the car and he opens the back of the taxi and he yanks some crying fangirl out of the back seat and just like shouts at her and shouts at the driver and like clearly like loses his mind. Yeah. Because I can't imagine what like dealing with that shit is like.
And I will say that before that particular like TV, we were talking a little bit about this before the episode started, that like TVXQ, perhaps because they just happen to have one of the larger fandoms, they have had some of the most incidents involving Sasaeng fans. Changmin has had his pinky broken by a fan. They've gotten into car accidents.
Yeah.
And Yoonho was fucking poisoned by a fan before. So, like, Changmin seeing the Sasaeng taxi behind him and, like, getting out and pulling and, like, giving them both a piece of of his mind, I don't really blame him.
Yeah, I know, like, he probably shouldn't have yanked her so violently out of the car or whatever, but, like,
But like his health and well-being is at risk.
It's like it's not cool to put your hands on people, but it's also really not cool to stalk people. And like, yeah. So we can go into the details of, being poisoned, because I feel like you dropped that and we can't just like let that go.
Let's talk about TVXQ in general, because I took a picture of it because there's like so many things, incidents.
But in 2006, like this is one of the biggest one ever, Yuno was poisoned. An anti-fan handed him an orange juice that had super glue in it. She also gave him a letter that said, "Do you think that you have popularity? Do you think that you dance well? Don't be showing off. Don't think that you're good at it. I really, really, really want to kill you." Yuno didn't read the letter, but he drank the juice in one shot and he was hospitalized and needed a stomach pumping. He didn't fucking press charges and forgave the girl because she was the same age of his baby sister, and he thought, she's young, she doesn't know anything, which is fine. Be a saint, if you must.
He's a good person.
But yikes.
Yeah, fucking yikes. Like, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. Let's just run down a few of these
go
TVXQs.
ahead.
Okay, so one fan made a copy of the key to their apartment.
Oh, nice.
Someone, like I mentioned, followed Changmin and broke his pinky finger. They froze their phone accounts, checked their call history on their cell phone by calling one by one everyone TVXQ had called to see if they were calling girls.
Oh, my God.
Another fan looked for TVXQ's personal seal so that they could register marriage documents.
Oh, no.
They snuck lingerie into their suitcases. This one I thought was funny because it's just kind of mean. They secretly ordered a bunch of pizza and chicken to TVXQ's apartment and forced them to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Snuck into their apartment and kissed them while they were sleeping. Yes.
Oh my God, I hate it.
Saved vials of menstrual blood to give them as a present.
No.
Was a cause of their car accident.
Oh, Jesus.
Found phone numbers of their family members and called them. Hit Changmin with a bag full of rocks.
Bag full of rocks? That's horrible.
Didn't look up the details of that one because I was
just
too upset. Used their social security numbers to sign into various internet sites and tapped their phones.
No! Whoa!
So, I'm not surprised Changmin pulled a bitch out of a taxi.
Yeah. There's also videos of one of the bad members of JYJ and someone else, like, shoving Sasaengs, and people were like, they shouldn't be putting their hands on people. But, like, I feel like anyone would fucking snap from this.
I have a story of JYJ as well. Yu-chun.
Yes,
Sasaeng fans installed CCTV cameras into the parking lot of his home. And there's footage that was released of it. It's super heartbreaking to watch. He's literally hiding behind walls and checking around corners before he walks into his own home.
That's terrible.
Horrible.
Boo. I hate that.
What kind of fucking lunatic installs cameras in someone's house?
Lunatics, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of those. There's a lot of those.
The same kind of people who, I don't know if this is jumping around too much, but I guess we're just listing terrible shit. Perhaps the same kind of people who would install microphones in EXO's hotel rooms and then release the audio files, which include files of them singing in the shower.
Yeah.
That's right. They put microphones in the bathrooms.
Yeah.
Why would you record? You probably recorded one of them taking a shit.
Why? I don't know. I don't know why people like want and need these things so badly. It really freaks me out. Yeah, I don't know. What else?
Did you hear anything? What other stories do you have about EXO? I have a lot.
The EXO story that I have is, where is it? In 2013, when they were in like the Philippines, Sasaengs had rented vans that looked like the vans that they use and parked them in the like correct spot in the airport. And there had already been some delays, like their visas were bad. So they were stuck at the airport a long time, which like allowed the crowds to really accumulate because they were there a long time. And so they like, you know, had to fight through horrible fans at the airport to get to this van. And Luhan got in the van and the manager noticed and yanked him out before anybody else could get in. But like someone was going to kidnap them.
Yeah. The goal was to kidnap all of the members of EXO by getting them into the wrong van. That's crazy.
Speaking of kidnapping, like this I hate because there's video of it and it is crazy. But in 2011 at a concert, someone tried to kidnap Taeyeon off the stage. Girls' Generation was performing. It's so upsetting because it happens when they're in a diagonal. So every girl in front of her doesn't see it happen. Mm-hmm. They keep dancing. So it feels very bad because like they don't see it. But a guy literally just walked on stage and grabbed her by the elbow and started yanking her off. Sunny noticed and starts fighting off the guy. And then comedian Oh Jung-tae, who was the like MC, also helped Sunny. And then security finally got the guy.
It's so upsetting.
He was going to take her. And then listen to this shit. He didn't get punished at all because the cop said he's still young and it was taken into account that he has studies and academic responsibilities. After seeing that Taeyeon did not incur any serious injuries, SM Entertainment has decided not to take legal action and the man is now pondering about his wrongful actions at home.
That sounds a lot like the same bullshit they said about that swimmer that raped that woman behind the
fucking
dumpster.
His future is nice. Like, no sane person walks onto a stage and tries to take a celebrity. Like, fuck you.
That's fucking crazy. Another story I read about Girls' Generation was that Jessica, she noticed once when she got out of a taxi at her apartment that someone was following her. And when she sped up and like ran closer to her apartment, they sped up too.
Oh, God.
And she ran all the way into her apartment, got inside, and then heard them trying to break into her apartment.
Fun.
So it was a man that followed her all the way to her door. She did not press charges, which I think is our first mistake, ladies.
I know. I feel like there was like not a lot of getting in trouble for stuff in this, which is really crazy. I guess like I can bring that up now, but like a lot of these stories that we're talking about are like kind of old, like, oh, they happened 10 years ago. But like this stuff doesn't go away at all. Like with 101, which is like a temporary boy group where they keep extending them because like they're too popular.
So popular. They were only supposed to be together for a year, but I think it's been longer than that.
Yeah, but they have had really serious Sasaeng problems. I remember when they first debuted, they were going to get kicked out of the apartment building that they dorm in because there were so many girls outside on the sidewalk and in the lobby at all times that everyone else in the building petitioned to have them removed. They were like, we live here.
Yeah, because like we just said, like these idols live in normal apartment buildings. Like they're just in the middle of Seoul. Like they just live in a regular building.
Yeah.
And so everybody else who lived in that building was like, excuse me, there's a crowd of girls outside. I can't get to my mailbox. Like get out.
Yeah, but 101 fans have been caught putting tracking devices on vans, breaking into like hotel rooms, filling up the hotels where they stay, like trying to get into rooms, filming themselves, like crazy stuff. And the company who does 101, Swings Entertainment, has been criticized over and over by normal fans for like putting up with this because they put out strongly worded, hey guys, stop putting tracking devices on stuff. And everyone was like, if you cared, you would have all of these people thrown in jail. But like you said earlier, they're the people buying 50 albums, so you can't prosecute them because I guess you need them, which is fucked up.
Yeah, no, it's bullshit. Especially a group like 101 that they're so popular, I'm sure you don't need this handful of crazies in order to continue their popularity. Like, how much money are you really going to lose? And like, is that the dollar amount that you're comfortable putting on your idols' heads? Because that's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
So I have like a few, since we're talking about like breaking in, right?
Yeah.
Let me just run down a few different stories of people breaking into homes.
Oh, fun.
So FT Island, they got back to their group dorm once and found that fans had broken in, ransacked the entire place, stole items from each member, and then pooped on the floor.
Yeah. I read that one today. I couldn't.
Why?
Psychosis. Like,
why.
No one who does this is well. Like, this is cray.
It doesn't end there.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm trying to decide. Okay, I'm going to go with this one next because the last one is like something out of a horror movie.
Oh, no.
So Dio, poor Dio from EXO. A Sasaeng fan, a netizen was selling underwear that she claimed was his.
Okay.
She said that she, quote, personally got it from their dorm, and it was extremely difficult to obtain. Okay. Claimed if you didn't believe her that it was from Dio, there was hair on it. You could DNA test.
DNA test with a match against what?
I don't know. But she also had socks. She said she would move on to Sehun next.
Oh, God.
And that she couldn't get through XOM's security, but she would be back with more items, so don't fight over it.
Oh, my God. That just reminded me of another XO incident, but I feel like you got to finish this break-in tangent first.
So upsetting. But also, like, what kind of security did XOM have that XOK didn't, where this bitch was able to break in once, steal shit, and then was really confident that she'd be able to do it again?
I don't know.
Last but not least, straight out of a horror movie, Jeon-young from
Oh my
CN
God,
Blue.
I love this story.
Jeon-young from CN Blue was in his room. He was home alone in the dorm, practicing the guitar, getting really frustrated by the fact that whatever he was practicing just wasn't going well. He did something to express his frustration, and then suddenly heard giggles coming from behind the drawers. So he opened the door, and this girl ran out screaming, "Oppa, I listened well," and then ran out of the dorm.
Oh my God. So scary.
So scary. That's so scary.
Oh my God. I hate it.
What's the EXO story I made you think of?
I read a story that some Sasaengs went so far as to shave their heads and dress like boys to go into the bathroom where poor EXO is trying to piss, and there's pictures.
There's pictures of Lay coming out of a stall and literally being like he can't even get a foot out of the stall, and there are these two tiny girls with shaved heads in front of him trying to get their autograph.
Awful.
It's horrible.
I don't even. And like the like serial killer-esque gifts a lot. Like Taekyeon from 2PM got a letter written in menstrual blood that was, quote, sprinkled with pubes. And GD and Taeyong also got letters like with blood drips on them and pictures of where the girls had cut themselves, like fucking horror bullshit.
Oh, I saw a really, really, really upsetting picture of someone who had literally carved "I Heart EXO" into one.
No,
it was really upsetting.
Yeah, see, these people need help.
Yeah. Poor Big Bang. Like, they've had some fucked up shit too. Like, G-Dragon had to go online and like on Twitter publicly beg people to not go to his house because people would camp outside of his house and, according to him, scare his mother and sister when they were coming home. So he was like, "Please, my mom and sister are getting scared when they come home. Please don't go to my house." Another incident that had nothing to do with their home, all of the members of Big Bang, they were like in their van trying to go home from some event, and they got blocked in by 4 vehicles of Sasaeng fans.
Oh my God, right. And they like hostage made them take pictures with them.
But wouldn't let them go until they took pictures with all of them.
Speaking of pictures, there's like a very famous picture of one of the guys from JYJ. And if you just look at the picture, it's just like him at a table, and there's like a waitress, and she has like she's like leaning in, and they're like taking a picture, and it just sort of looks like a normal picture. But if you look closer in the background, like 5 heads deep, there are smashed against the windows, just like a horde of people, like a zombie movie, like a horde of people trying to like.
The entire window is filled with faces.
It's freaky.
Like they're standing on each other.
Yeah. Like just looking at him while he eats dinner.
It's upsetting.
The airport stuff makes me want to die. I don't know how anybody does that.
Some of the airport, like some people are very respectful. like when Hyuna just recently traveled, I saw like a beautiful video of fans like waiting quietly, just like lining the walkway and like giving her flowers and quietly saying I love you.
Yes.
SHINee fans are really good at being respectful.
I saw one video of, I wish I knew, but I don't keep up with these things, but at one recent BTS at the airport, fans like made an organized parted aisle and they waited and tried to, and it's like everyone tries so hard, and then as soon as they pass, then everybody like has to run after them. I feel like I've seen SHINee videos like that where everyone is as respectful as they possibly can be, and then as
until
soon as
the
they're
moment
like
they walk
5 feet away, and then they're like, okay, I have to follow him now. But
I also
sometimes.
watched a video today that I wrote it down, and I literally just wrote, my stomach hurts. Because I watched this video of BTS landing in Indonesia. The video is literally 16 seconds long. And it's so like whatever, members passing, there's a crowd, and then Jungkook comes out, and as soon as he walks by these fans, this girl just like literally bear hugs him from the back, and he's like kind of like dragging her along as he walks, because he like doesn't stop walking, but she's like hanging on, and there's like a couple other fans that like grab onto him as well, and then this one girl, just bless her heart, tears through the crowd screaming, don't touch them, let them go, and like rips the girls off of them. Where the fuck were BTS's bodyguards at that time? Like, why is this tiny girl fan the one that's tearing off the other fans? I don't know. But
the airport stuff stresses me out so much,
gave
because
me like a stomach ache, and just like I felt claustrophobic and anxious and upset.
Yeah, it's so terrible. And like I've heard people like just sort of kicking around the idea of like all the fan sites should band together and just fucking stop taking airport. Like, we should all just like stop encouraging anyone being at the airport at all. Like,
I agree.
We all love an airport look,
but airports, airports are stressful enough.
Yes.
Flying is stressful enough. The last thing I would want to see getting off the plane is a crowd full of people that makes it more difficult for me to leave the airport.
Yes.
Like, no.
Yeah. It's always nice when they can get people out a back door. Like, I remember during the last EXO tour, the one that they did their little EXO-mentary about, that when they were in Mexico, there was like, the fans were sad because they had all lined up. They had lined up very nice, and they
had a very
EXO,
respectful plan.
But they took them out the back door, like, so no one even saw them. But I mean, that's what they should be doing. Like,
I agree.
I kind of can't. I mean, I don't know how much money anybody has, and you got to keep your overhead low. But the fact that they like put all of them on like commercial flights with other people, and they like, why doesn't BTS have a jet? Shouldn't they have a jet?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I know like when SM flies their whole company out for something like SM Town, like it's just one plane that has like everybody on it and probably nobody else. But maybe they don't. Maybe they can't afford to have.
No, I guess
jets.
they can't afford it.
It's good for the environment. Like, don't buy private jets,
do it.
Whatever.
I'm
but,
just
like,
saying,
it is really crazy to think that like a group that's as enormous as Big Bang or BTS, like they're just flying on a regular plane.
Yeah, with all the other.
Like, I'm gonna see them on my JetBlue flight. I don't know. That seems weird.
Yeah. Okay. I would like to take a slight detour to talk about anti-fans for a second.
Okay.
Like, just because maybe it's like slightly more quote unquote understandable. No, not understandable.
I don't know. I said at the beginning, I think Sasaeng fans are more understandable.
That's true.
Because they're at least doing it because they supposedly love them so much.
Yes. Okay. I guess I just like this one example that I wanted to bring up is fascinating to me. Maybe that's where I was getting, like, in the way that like talking about psychos breaking into people's houses makes me just feel sick. This is just like a weird psychology of fangirls, and like, why do people get obsessed with hating things instead? So
I'm nervous.
No, this is just like it's a very famous K-pop incident that I feel like people have to like explain to new K-pop newbies, and I've been like waiting to talk about it for a while. And this was the 2008 Dream concert Black Ocean scandal. So basically what happened is during the Dream concert, which we've talked about before, it's like a massive concert where like all the hottest artists of the day and all the fandoms sit in their respected like zones and they stay separate, and it's a big deal.
It's a concert that still happens today.
Yes.
It's just like a compilation show.
But when Girls' Generation came on stage, they were still rookies. They like had not been around very long. When they got on stage, everyone turned off their light sticks, stopped shaking their balloons, and went dead silent while they performed. And it was like a massive, big deal. I watched today an old Korean news report about this incident, trying to figure out, because nobody knew why it happened. Like, it seemed like this massive coordinated effort, and like no one had any idea how it had gone down.
What year was it?
2008.
Okay.
So it's not like we have no internet, but like, I don't know, it was a different K-pop world for sure. But basically what happened is that it was kind of like a long time coming. Like, since Girls' Generation had debuted, fans of TVXQ and Super Junior had sort of just been building up resentment for a while, because they were like
sort of the first girl group to be able to compete with the same level.
No. It was,
success?
I wish that's what it was. It was that they were the first girl group that SM had in years and years and years. So they had their TVXQ and their Super Junior, and then all of a sudden these 9 girls showed up and they like knew their oppas. And they
for the love of Christ.
And so they all had like rapport, and some of them like spoke informally to members of Super Junior or whatever, or like, and so people just found them disrespectful and showy. And
literally
like,
just jealousy.
Yeah.
Like, that's so
truly
stupid. Oh, I hate women sometimes.
Yeah.
Maybe, I hate people. I'll rephrase.
No, that's fair.
People suck.
So this like resentment had been building up in these like TVXQ Super Junior circles about this stuff. But from this news report that I watched today, it like a blob of avalanche something, it just like spread so much farther than that and became a million other things. So by the time that this Dream concert came around, it was just like in this news report, they like talked to all of these girls who are there, and like the Korean media is really weird. Everyone gets an anonymity. So like, you could watch a report about like a murder and literally everyone's faces is blurred and you have no idea the name of the victim or the killer at all. Like, they keep it. They don't have to tell you shit. So it's like blurry chipmunk girls like explaining themselves. But basically, then everybody started hearing that like the Girls' Generation fans are crazy. Like they're beating people up. Like they've assaulted people or whatever. Then it just like starts murmuring through all of the fandoms that like Girls' Generation is bad and their fans are evil and violent, and like we have to put a stop to them. So in this weird, it just like makes its way through the line all day long at the Dream concert that like we're all going to be silent when Girls' Generation gets on the stage. So that's what happened. And another part of this that people forget, because it like wasn't as big of a deal, but there were plenty of Super Junior fans who were very, very mad at their oppas, and they tore all their Super Junior banners while they were on stage, like loudly, and like
at that same concert.
Yes, tore all their Super Junior stuff up.
Mad
like,
at them
protest.
For being friends with Girls' Generation.
Yes, I think so. Okay. I think it was just like they just like didn't like how they talked. But the funny thing is like in this news report, they like talked to fangirls after, and they're like, we heard about this Black Ocean incident, and all the fangirls are like, people were throwing rocks and cans. Like the Girls' Generation fans were dragging people into dark corners and bathrooms and beating them up. And like, I heard people were getting like sexually assaulted, and like someone had a knife and someone broke their leg. And there were these stories, these insane stories of crazy things that had happened at the Dream concert.
And none of it was true.
None of it had happened. Absolutely none of it. Like there was the only thing that happened is that people turned their lights off, but it like worked its way through all the fandoms that like there was a brawl caused by Girls' Generation fans, and so they got protested because their fans were like beating people up and throwing rocks in the stadium, which isn't true. Like, it's really crazy.
That's so crazy. I mean, it's a really nutty example of like group psychology, but it's also a really devastating example of the underlying misogyny that like women are raised with. I feel like that everyone was so willing to hate this girl group purely for the reason that they were girls.
Yes.
Like, they are women who knew these boys. Like, they worked together. And the only reason that they were hated is because they were women. And that's so fucked up.
Yeah, it's really gross. A lot of the girls like in the video like straight up were just saying like, I don't like girl groups. They're always like showing off and trying to like seduce people with their bodies. They're disgusting. Like, it's very strange. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Boo.
Boo. Boo indeed. But yeah, I don't know. Anti-fans, it seems like I was looking up to see like who has a lot of anti-fans, like just curious. And it seems like the most popular people also have the most anti-fans. Taeyeon and Baekhyun have a crazy amount of anti-fans.
Of course.
Kong Daniel from 101, he's like the most famous person in the country, so he's also extremely hated by a lot of people who are like, why is he such a show off? Like, hey, the rest of 101 works hard, why do we like this guy? I hate this guy. Like, I don't know what it is that just
it's like anti-bandwagoners, I guess.
I think so.
Just like this person's really loved, so I'm gonna hate that person.
So I hate them. Yeah, no, it's odd, but
upsetting. Poor Baekhyun. Like we didn't mention this when we were just going through.
Oh my god, yeah.
A group of his fans. I mean, he and like the rest of EXO went to his brother's wedding, and fans crashed his brother's wedding.
Yeah.
They stood on chairs in order to take pictures of them during the ceremony, and they rushed forward when the couple was trying to cut the cake so that they could ask the members for autographs. And the members, being literal children at the time, there were still all 12 of them. Like, Luhan was at this wedding. Just politely asked the fans to wait. Like, can you just wait until this cutting of the cake is over and then we'll give you autographs? And they refused. And they had to get, like, escorted away. It was
and that's the part that's crazy, too, is that, like, also there's so many – I saw, like, a couple video of examples where, like, the anti-fan or the Sasaeng, like, snapped because of, like, what they perceived to be an attitude problem. Like, there was a 17 one where some bitch just, like, screamed at Joshua. And then when they, like, asked her why, she was like, he wasn't smiling. None of them were smiling. I bought so many albums, they need to smile at me.
Yes.
Like,
she was literally pissed. She threw her CD at him because she said he didn't smile enough at her.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Super crazy. But I don't know. And I don't understand why don't the companies like do more?
Yeah, that is really crazy that like these idols like don't they do have security, but like they have bodyguards, but clearly not enough is being done, like at least public statement wise. The companies don't come down hard enough on these.
And fans. I think it comes down to the companies, because I have a thing written down because I wanted it as like a sort of glimmer of hope that at least on the law books, like in 2011, a clause was added to South Korea's Minor Offenses Act, aiming to protect idols from their sasaengs. The same year, the government reportedly founded a center for celebrities to get counseling services to deal with the psychological stress of this shit.
Good.
And then the Minor Offenses Act was revised again in 2013 so that a conviction of stalking would be a $72 fine, like 72 American dollars-ish, and however, increased concerns and a rising number of like victims of stalking. They updated the law in 2016 that the fine for stalking is now $17,000.
Oh, that's
and
good.
Could lead to a 2-year jail sentence. So they're at least like they're now putting the things in place that if the companies would sack up and prosecute these people, then like they could be actually get punished for this shit.
The problem is that a lot of times the companies themselves don't do it. And like if repercussions do come to these fans, it's from the idol themselves. Like I mentioned this, I think when we were railing against Cube, that like Chanyeol has sued 2 different people for writing shit about him on the internet. Like, cause I think they were saying crazy things about like his family.
Yes.
And it was like ultimately just emotionally stressful.
Right.
So he sued them for slander or for libel or whatever it is. Whatever one it is. And was able to shut them down and like get them kicked off. And those fans had no sympathy from other fans. But SM didn't do that for him. Like he had to take that upon himself. So it needs to be an effort on the company's part to protect their own idols.
Because I don't know if it even like means anything to these crazy people, but again, maybe it just like makes the less crazy person who's like, oh, maybe I want to go see them at the airport, like think twice about shit. But like, I hate seeing Chanyeol literally just did it on Instagram like 3 weeks ago, posting a picture of a broken shoe of his like broken Gucci slippers or whatever, and he was like, don't fucking crowd me, like. Y'all broke my slipper. You were like, you caused danger to like everyone in the airport. Like, why does everyone act like this? No, it was like much nicer. But the point was just basically like,
hey, y'all, you broke my shoe.
Yeah, they swarmed him at the airport and someone stepped on his expensive flip flop and he broke it and he was pissed. But like I read a statement from Top, a statement from G-Dragon. Like it's weird when people have to be like, hey, please stop stalking me. Like, please stop doing it. Like, it's weird that they have to ask.
Yeah, like they shouldn't have to ask. Like, yeah, G-Dragon shouldn't have to tweet out like, hey, can you please not stalk my house because my mom and my sister live there too?
Yeah.
Like, what? Leave them alone. For the love of God.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I have much more to say about this, but it's like fucking depressing and I wish that people didn't do it and idols have to put up with enough. So y'all just like be nice. It's all just music. We're all just trying to have fun.
Love them gently and kindly.
Yeah.
And respectfully.
Yeah. And if you want to send them presents, don't send them your underwear. Don't send them your blood. Like just
don't send them bodily fluids.
Yeah.
That's like a pretty easy rule.
Yeah. I think that's okay. That's a good rule. Don't take pictures of people without asking. Don't sneak into places that isn't yours.
Don't invade a 3-foot bubble of personal space.
Yeah.
Don't mail bodily fluids. Don't go to people's homes.
Right.
And don't contact their family members.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I think we could all try to do that at least.
Those are reasonable things.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't want any of those things to happen to me.
No. Hey, golden rule, guys.
Yeah.
Treat people like you want to be treated.
Idols are humans too.
They sure are. And we love them and we want them to
We love them from a respectable distance.
Yes. From a good distance. All right. We'll be right back with a random game. Okay, we're back. And I don't know what kind of what's in the thoughts of the random number generator anymore. I don't know what it wants me to know.
I don't know, but I do think it's listening to us.
I think so too, because we talked about them last week. But it picked G Idol or Idol or
Idol. As we learned last week, they're actually pronounced Idol, spelled G Idol. It is too bad that they didn't give it to us last week, though. Like maybe number generator was feeling sleepy.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
But yeah, so we got Idol. They are a, 6-member?
Yes.
6-member group from Cube. Debuted in 2018 with the song La Tata.
And their names, I'll name them. We didn't do that last week. Their names are Miyeon, Minnie, Sujin, Soyeon, Yuki, and Shuhwa.
Yeah, and Miyeon has had dating rumors, and so has Sujin.
Yep. Exciting. And, I meant to say it like a episode ago, and I totally forgot that SM station thing that one of them is in.
Oh, yeah.
I said that I would say, but wow thing.
There it is. I knew it started with a W.
Y'all have probably been waiting a whole week for me to say that. No, because it's probably out by now, so everybody knows about it. But wow thing.
Yes. So one of the members of I'm just going to keep calling them G-Idol because that's how it's spelled. But so one of the members of G-Idol is in has an SM Station collaboration with Seulgi from Red Velvet, a member of CLC, right? No, Chungha. And a member of G-Friend, excuse me. So these 4 ladies came out with a song called Wow Thing. As we are recording this episode right now, the only thing that's out is like a very short clip of a dance practice.
But it's great.
The song is super catchy. The dance is really cool, and like it's a really powerhouse like foursome of ladies, which is very exciting. So that's something G-Idol related to look forward to or to keep an eye out for. But other than that, as we said last week, they just recently debuted in 2018 this year, and they have so far 2 singles, La Tata and Han.
Yes.
Have they released a full EP, or is it just those 2 songs?
I think it's just those 2 singles.
Okay.
But let me check. There is a wiki for... Oh, no. Yeah, I've listened to this album. That's not true. Okay. There's 6 songs on their EP, but Han was just a...
Oh, okay. So La Tata comes with an EP called I Am.
Yes.
And it's a 6-track EP, and then they followed it with the single of Han.
Yes.
We talked about this last week a little bit. They did have like pretty instant success. They debuted high on the GON chart and on the Billboard World Music Chart. And they have currently a total of 5 music show trophies, 3 for their debut single La Tata and 2 for Han.
Yes.
So we are going to watch their most popular music video, which is
La Tata.
La Tata. Not surprising. I mean, they only have 2. So.
Yeah, but 65 mil 4 months ago. That's not nothing. And I saw flashback to music video episode trivia. Both of their videos were Zany Bros directed. So that's that. All right, let's hit up with the full version of La Tata.
So part of this music video takes place in like a warehouse, right? Because they have kind of an edgier
It looks
vibe.
like the same warehouse that CLC was in.
Yeah, I bet it was.
There's only so many warehouses.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like this does remind me of that CLC comeback. Like,
Yeah.
I feel Hyuna in this. There's no proof of it, but like, she's everywhere. But like, because they're all dressed so differently.
Yeah, they really
One's
don't
kind
have
of
like...
preppy. One is like...
One's wearing like all red and fishnets. They have like really weird pattern
in that same
matches.
Blackpink way of like none of the clothes seem to work in any way. Like,
yeah.
but then these outfits
I
are
love
at
these
least
outfits.
the same like peachy color, but they're also very weird.
Yeah, weird
A lot of
like
strings,
shapes
a lot of
and like
fringe.
multiple fabrics.
Yes.
But they're all the same color.
Okay, they have lollipops.
This video like doesn't really have a plot really. It's mostly just like them dancing in different places.
They're in like a bazaar of some kind and they have lollipops, but
Yeah. It does have kind of a Middle Eastern vibe. Like a few of them have henna on their arms and they're kind of in like a bazaar with like a lot of tapestries and fabrics behind them.
now they're just having teen fun in a shopping cart.
The choreography for this dance isn't featured enough in this music video, but is really cool.
It's one of my favorite songs that I've learned this year. I love doing this dance. It's great.
And this song is so interesting. Like melodically, it doesn't sound like anything else.
Yeah. I felt the same way about Han. Like the first time I heard it, I was like, I've literally never heard a song that sounds like this. And it like took a minute to grow on me because of it, but I think they're kind of genius.
Yeah.
Okay, now they're like playing golf
Video games
and video
golfing.
games. This is very strange
Yeah,
because
this
it like
music
started
video is
out like a certain aesthetic and now it's gotten kind of playful in a way that I don't know what to do with.
This is my favorite part of the melody.
Killing point.
Every day, every night, la ta ta.
Yeah, and they go through like a lot of different outfits in this video, but
Every day, every night, la ta ta.
It's just like inexplicable locations.
Yeah. But I don't know, they look real pretty and real cool. There's
I don't
some,
love the henna on their hands. It feels a little cultural appropriation
and
to
it's
me.
black.
Yeah, and it's
So
black,
it looks
like
wrong.
tattoos.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
one of my favorite moves in the whole song. It's silly.
Every day, every night, la ta ta.
Oh yeah.
Good job,
She's
ladies.
a star. Oh my god, her hat's on fire. But it's obviously fake CGI fire because she was really standing there. And when they do stunt fire, like you can't fuck around with that stuff.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I'm excited for G Idol. I'm like sad that like because it's Cube, it means if G Idol succeeds, CLC can't because I guess you can only have one fucking girl group at a time. But I like
that's
them.
like
so
a pattern of all companies, not just Cube, even though Cube is the worst.
yeah. Anyway, they're cool, and that girl in the middle, I think, like, what is her name? Sue.
I don't know. She is kind of a Hwasa vibe to
She
me.
looks like CL, and she's a star, and I can just tell right now
Yeah,
she's a star.
incredible. She's incredible.
Yeah, so that's G Idol. They're great. Recommendations for this week. Truth be told, we just recorded a whole bunch of episodes in a row, so my brain is broken, and all I can think about is GOT7.
Go for it. That can be your recommendation because I thought of something else.
Oh, you thought of something else? But I'll recommend on Angelica's behalf the Spanish version of
Oh
Lullaby.
yes! Oh my gosh! That can be my recommendation. I don't mind. You can
No, do
recommend the
whatever
Korean version, and I can recommend
Do whatever
the
you
Spanish
want.
version.
Just, I mean, it's now like been a week or two, so I hope you've all seen it by now. But GOT7 has a new album out. It's called Present You, and it has solo tracks from all of the members and a song called Lullaby, which is in 4 languages: English, Mandarin, Spanish, and Korean.
Did they come out with a Mandarin version and an English version, or does it just include both of those languages?
It's all there. There's
They
like
have literally
an
4 different versions of it. Wow.
I'm gonna check. There might be 5. I thought it was 4, but they put out so many versions of Lullaby.
Well, it's
English, Chinese, Spanish, Korean. Yeah, there's a version of each.
well, it's a fantastic song. It's a really cool dance. Their stages are really good. And like honestly, the Spanish version, listening to it like brought tears to my eyes. I don't know why, but it was just really good. Like it was really cool to like have them do a Spanish version because K-pop is really, really popular in Latin America. The boys' accents are pretty good.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it was neat.
Yeah.
Plus, it was a fun change of pace for me to actually be able to understand what the song was about.
That's
That was fun.
But like they all look stupid hot. They're like hot pastel boyfriends. I've gotten Angelica on Train Agase. It's really nice.
I cannot believe that JB made me love a mullet. Like, I really didn't think it was ever going to be possible for me to be attracted to a man in a mullet, but he's so hot.
Yeah.
But why didn't I notice that before when he was mulletless?
I don't know. You just weren't looking hard enough.
I wasn't looking.
Your
I
heart
wasn't paying
wasn't
attention.
open. But it's really good. I stand by the music video and all the stages. I'm sure maybe by now there's another fun dance practice out, but at this moment there's
They have a
one-
boyfriend version. Have you watched it?
Oh God, I haven't watched it yet. Okay.
I saw it today and I literally was like, I can't handle that right now.
I have a hard time with the boyfriend version.
They're really hard to watch. And now that I know all of their names and faces, I am afraid.
Oh no. Okay. Oh, I gotta watch that now.
We'll watch it right now.
Okay, great. Did you want to do another rec, or do you want to just tag team?
Let's tag team this recommendation. Have you recommended this yet?
I played it on the show when my coworkers were on.
Oh,
but I
okay.
haven't like recommended it separately. But
We could have recommended this for the girl group one.
That's true.
That we did. Did we even do recommendations for that episode?
Yes, we did.
I can't even remember now. But anyway, I want to recommend Priston V's Get It. This is a subunit of Priston, and the song is different from Priston's vibe, I think, but
a little.
It's really cool. It's like a really catchy vibe or a really catchy song, and the choreography to it is awesome.
Yes, it's super awesome.
Yeah.
We have to like convince. We got to tag team Uno in the messages, get her to do that one. It would be great. Okay.
That would be a fun song.
Yeah, so that's it for this week. And as always, if you want to chat with us, we love to talk to you guys. And you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at AMAKPopPod. If you want to send an email, amakpoppod@gmail.com. There's a bunch of links and stuff at amakpoppod.tumblr.com, as well as playlists and podcast episodes on Ask Me About K-Pop, the podcast on YouTube.
Yay.
And rate and review and subscribe and tell your friends and all those things. We love y'all a bunch, and we'll talk to you another day.
Bye.
Bye. Chongyun, you're our inspiration.